into my kitchen.
No.
And tonight, I'm making Piggy and I supper, but I'm also making something that we really like. It's based on the crock pot Rotel cheese dip. But
it's more of a party snack, but it can be supper.
Yeah, I make it for supper because I make mine a little bit different. You can cook it in the crock pot. I cook mine on the stove top. And what I start with is half a pound of ground meat. I use ground beef. You can use venison, you can use pork, you can use chicken, whatever you want to use in it. You know, that's entirely up to you. But I use ground beef for hamburger. I also use the generic Velveeta. This is the Aldi brand, Clancy's cheesy melt, or cheese melt. Same stuff, less salty, tastes better in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And I have about maybe 3/4 of a pound or so of that.
And you know what to say about opinion. Yeah.
We all have one. Alright, so roughly about 3/4 of a pound of the cheese melt. I have 1 can of the, these are the generic diced tomatoes with green peppers. It's the generic Rotel. This is the store brand. I have a can of pinto beans. I have some black olives, and I have my Big Dipper chips. Now, the beans is where it's a little different from mine to everybody else's. I like adding the pintos into mine. It gives it a little bit more flavor for me and more texture. Most people just use the meat, the cheese, and the Rotel tomatoes. That's fine if that's what you want. I like to jazz mine up with the beans and the black olives because that's what Piggy and I like. And since we like it that way, that's how we're going to eat it.
Well, I'm just no jarhead anyhow, and I adapt just no come. I ain't got to cook it, but I sure do get to eat it.
Piggy gets to eat it. He enjoys it. I'm not going to add any extra salt to this because even though I said this is not as salty as Velveeta, this cheese is still salty. It is a processed cheese product. And it does have salt in it. So I'm not going to add any extra salt. Don't need it. What I am going to add is a little bit of Piggy's The Rub salt free. Just to give it that little extra oomph of flavor.
Oompa, oompa.
Alright, y'all. I know that stuff is coming out.
Is that any relation to an Oompa Loompa?
Possible. I don't know. If it's short and orange, possible. Alright. Well, y'all, there's not a whole lot of grease in this hamburger meat. That's what I like about this meat that we get at Delray Farms down in Dalton. I get the meat, but it don't have a whole lot of grease when cooked out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pour in my Rotel tomatoes. Well, my generic Rotel tomatoes, I should say. Got everything out of there.
It's Rotel style.
Rotel style folks. Pour in my pintos. Like I said, I love beans in it. I don't care if it's the pintos. I don't care if it's black beans. Black beans are really good in it. It could be kidney beans. But it's going to be one or the other of the pintos or the black beans for my part.
Whatever you happen to have.
Yeah, whatever you have on hand.
And we go good together.
Now I'm going to stir that, stir it up.
That's what this experimentation is all about.
Yeah. Well, if I don't have the Rotel style tomatoes, I'll just use regular canned diced tomatoes. And then I might chop me up some jalapenos or something out of the refrigerator that we have jarred.
Give it a little spice.
Give it a little spice. And I'm just going to throw just a few black olives in there. These are some sliced black olives. I'll get me a lid to put on those right there in a minute. Dry my hands. You know, this normally does not take very long. The longest part usually is cooking the meat and melting the cheese. Since the meat's already done, get everything heated through. Then we'll put our cheese in there. Now, if you want extra cheese in yours, I can recommend maybe putting a little bit of cheddar cheese or Colby cheese or maybe even some Monterey cheese in there. Because once it melts down, it's going to give it a really great flavor. Normally, I use what I have on hand. If I have the cheese melt, I'll use that plus whatever else I have. I do have more cheese, but tonight I'm just going to use the cheese melt. I'm not going to...
There again, that goes back to the experimentation.
Yeah.
You experiment. See what all you can make with what you got.
And seeing how quick this is put together, the good thing about this, if you want to make a big batch of it and have it for a party or get together, yes, you can make it in the crock pot. Just pour, put everything together in the crock pot and put it on low and let it cook for a couple hours or so. Or you can do like I'm doing, go ahead and cook it all, mix it all together, and then transfer it to a crock pot to keep it warm. So you have the options. Now, you'll notice I did not drain the Rotel tomatoes. I want that juice to help melt the cheese and to make it dippable for my chips. Now, I have the big dippers, the tortilla chips. I got these at Aldi. They're Clancy's brand. And I also have the white rounds tortilla chips from they're Clancy's brand. Also, I got at Aldi. And yes, I buy a lot of things at Aldi. I also buy a lot of things at Save a Lot and Delray Farms and Food Lion. And sometimes I'll go to Publix if I have to have something that I can't get anywhere else. And I am not a one-stop shopper. I go where I can get the best bargains.
The bottom line is, just because you buy name brand doesn't mean you got the best.
Right. I'll tell you a secret my granddaddy told me years ago. And he said he went to his place where they made packaged flour, processed the wheat for the flour. And he had ridden in with somebody, he worked on a farm, and he'd gone with somebody to make a delivery, and they were talking to a guy that run the plant, and he was showing my granddad around the plant and how they had the conveyor belt system set up to put the bags on and to fill the bags and seal them and everything. And my granddad was looking, and he said, those bags look different. He's talking about the bags on the conveyor belt. And the gentleman told him, he said, yeah, he said, they are. He said, we'll do the premium run, which is the name brands. We'll do them one after the other, and then once we get through with the name brands, we start doing the secondary brands, which would be the store brands, and then the generic brands, which would be the third brand. He said, it's all the same stuff. Just getting it in a different bag.
It's packaged for a different demographic at different stores.
Yeah. And
I'll tell you another good one. Had a man, he was building a 66 Chevy step-side truck. Had a little V8 in it. And y'all might think I'm crazy and tell a fib, but he used Ford and Chevy unleaded pistons in that thing. And I say Ford because there was some of the pistons that needed to be replaced. I told him, I said, you crazy. He told me, he said, nope, if you know what you're looking for, it's the same piston, you just have to know what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. He was able to buy Ford pistons. They were the exact same match as the Chevy piston for that size engine, because he knew what he was looking for. And he got them at a cheaper price because of it. Yeah. Same piston, it's just a different name that you was going after.
And that's the way it is with the meat products and stuff, and the flour and all that.
Same way with carpet.
Yeah.
I worked for a carpet mill. They sold under 5 different names. They had some really expensive carpet, but if you knew what you were looking for and knew the type of store it went to, you get that expensive carpet for a pretty good price.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, this is about done.
About done?
It's about done. We've got a few little chunks of cheese in there, but yeah, I mean, that's not been taking no time at all, hardly. But, you know. Well, like I said, I told you that little story my granddad told me. And I can tell you, my granddad, he worked in a meat packing plant as well, years ago. My granddaddy worked wherever he could work to make a buck and support his family. But he said the same thing, the meat packing plant. He said, he worked for the company under the name brand, but they also packaged the store brand for them. And so they would, it's the exact same meats, It's just, it will be packaged under the store brand name.
And some people will buy it under the brand name because they just got to have that status. And some people will buy it under the store brand. But the same company is making that money off of the same thing both ways because it's coming from them anyhow.
Alright, y'all. I'm going to take a quick break, get my area here cleaned off, get my dip poured up into my bowls, and then we'll be back, do a taste test, and have at it. Alright, I'm back. I've got the dip divided between 2 bowls. Got us some chips here to dip with. Like I said, this will be supper for us tonight. And this is something I fix for us, like I said, every so often. You got my picador?
I do.
Alright, well, I'm going to take a bite, y'all.
Well, you can take a bite.
Let me find one.
We're supposed to, ain't it? Take a bite, see how it tastes. We know how it tastes.
I know how it tastes because I've had it before. I mean, it's good stuff. Alright, y'all.
Meat and cheese, a few other flavors on some of them scoop chips.
Mmm.
Good to go.
The beans really set it off. I don't know what it is about them, but having the beans in this dip, to me, it enhances the flavor and makes it better.
Because she's getting fueled up for later, folks.
But
don't let her fool you.
I know everybody has their version of this dip. Like I said, I know it's the Rotel cheese dip that you can make in the crock pot. Again, I made mine on the stove top. I can be put in my crock pot and kept warm. Or you can do like we're going to do, divide it up and eat it.
That's it. Divide it up, take it in here, watch our shows and YouTubes
and do what we got to do.
And sit there and nibble on that until it goes.
So I thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all have a great day. Bye, y'all. Bye, y'all.
Word about more.